Welcome to our final session of our Employer Explorer Networking series at our third annual Spring Career Week. We are so excited for you to join us again this afternoon. This session will be recorded, and we invite you to submit questions throughout the session into the chat with the understanding that we will save any of your questions at the end. Today, we have JPL with us to present information about their company, employment, and internship opportunities, and answering any of the questions that you submit in the chat today. So now I would like to turn it over to our employer, Tracy Gallagher from JPL.
All right, thank you, Rebecca. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be with you all virtually, and I hope everyone's doing well. I'm so happy to be here to talk to everyone. As Rebecca mentioned, please ask questions, get them into the chat, make this as interactive as possible. I can sit here and talk all day about JPL, but that's kind of boring sometimes. So feel free to get those questions in, and we'll save as much time as we can to answer as many so that you guys are getting the information that you would like. So I think the first question that probably everyone might have is, who is JPL? So once again, I could talk a lot about that, but it'd probably be a little bit better and a little bit more entertaining if we show a video about that. So if my friends could go ahead and roll that video.
This is JPL. We're headquartered in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we're okay with that. We have branched out, though, which helps us work with clients anywhere and everywhere. Well, maybe not everywhere. We have a train station. We have an international airport. We even have Uber drivers. And that's where we are. So let's talk who we are. Well, we're a multidiscipline agency with 4 core practices. Sounds legit, right? We provide both strategy and execution for brand and integrated marketing, digital, content creation, and employee engagement and internal communications. You're probably saying to yourself, wow, that's impressive, but I still don't know who they are. Fair enough. Perhaps it'd be easier to understand who we are if we told you who we aren't. We thrive on collaboration, but we aren't a bunch of yes men. Or yes women. Hopefully you'll choose us for our
All right, so that is who JPL is in a much more fun and engaging video. So I am gonna, oh, we lost my webcam. Start my webcam. There we go. That always helps if you start the webcam. Let's see here. Start sharing. Hey, hi, I'm back. Look at that. Okay, Justin says I'm good. This is all part of the virtual event experience. You got to be ready. You got to be live. It's exciting. And if you caught it, we actually do events as one of the things at JPL. But anyway, so that video is a video we produced, and it's on our website. It gives a little bit of overview and a little visual, and kind of gives you a quick idea of our space and our people and what it's like to work at JPL. I'm going to try to dive a little bit more into that. So here's the more slide version about JPL. So we are headquartered in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, but we have an office in New York City, as well as we just recently have opened an office in Philadelphia area. We were founded back in 1989, and we have just a little bit over 100 team members across all of our departments. But we are one of the largest independent full service agencies in the Mid-Atlantic. And we have a sister company called Da Vinci Interactive, who is based out of Hagerstown. So they are an entity of ours, and they do e-learning and interactive design for e-learning engagement. So there's some crossover there between JPL and Da Vinci as well. What we do is we work with clients, and that's really what we say we do. We find solutions. We're a solutions provider for our clients, mostly in B2B markets. And we are very proud that we have been named one of the best places to work in Pennsylvania for 19 straight years in a row. That's something that we are very proud about. We work really hard, and that is something that comes directly from our team members. They actually have to fill out a survey and rate us for us to get nominated onto that every year. So it's something that we are very proud about, and we take our culture very seriously. And we're also a member of the 4As. So if you haven't checked out the 4As, it is the American Association of Advertising Agencies. It's a great industry, even for students looking to get into advertising. Lots of great resources. Their internship programs as well. So I definitely recommend to check that out. So what we offer are our core practices. You saw a little bit in the video. I'll dive a little bit more into them, but we describe ourselves as a marketing and communications agency. And what we do is we help organizations connect, and that can be both externally with customers, or it could be internally with employees and their talent. And we do that in 4 different areas. So we have brand and integrated marketing. And that is covers everything that you could think about with brand, all the way from strategy to creating a brand from scratch, to brand platforms, to rolling out the brand. You name it, we can do it there. And that's really making sure we're attracting and converting the right customers. Content creation, that's a fun bucket. That's producing all of those things that need to be produced as part of a brand. So that could be anything from a huge video to a small little social media blurb, digital, social content. All of those things kind of need to be created, and we can do that in a scalable way. We have our digital practice, and that covers everything in the digital realm. And that's something that's been really, really important and for our clients moving forward with the industry, and especially in the day and age that we're in. So things like paid media and analytics, actually analyzing every time someone clicks on something and what that can do, and what that user journey looks like. So we have a whole team and offering dedicated to that. And then employee engagement and internal communications. We work with a lot of large corporations and clients that need to communicate to their internal team members, and that is a whole process in itself, and needs strategy and needs content and needs a lot of things that go into that. So those are what we kind of consider our 4 practices. And so who are some of our clients? You probably recognize some of them, but you can see on the slide we've got a couple that you recognize and maybe don't recognize. Anything from Quest Diagnostics, if you've had to go get blood work done, maybe you've been to a Quest. Our friends in Hershey, we work a lot with them across all of our practices. Kellogg's is a more recent client that we've been doing actually a lot of virtual events for. And then you can see all the way down to some colleges and universities, Rite Aid, Giant. So just a large diversity of clients. And that's something that is one of the really fun parts about working at an agency, is you're not doing the same thing every day. So one day you can be working on a social ad for the new Hershey's chocolate product, and the next day you're learning about the process to get blood work done. So it keeps it very interesting if you're someone who likes the days being different and kind of not knowing. This might be the industry to get into for you. So you're probably saying, that's great, Tracy, but what does that mean from like a job perspective? What kind of jobs do we have? So if you take a look at our services and our practices and you break those down, this kind of shows you what kind of jobs are in each one of these. So for example, the brand and integrated practice, you can see there's a lot of research, a lot of planning, a lot of strategy, people who are doing media planning and buys, advertising, planning, messaging, brand positioning, all that is in that kind of category. Content creation has a lot of different roles in it. So if you are a copywriter or like writing, we have several of those on our team. Video production, which includes animation and motion graphics. You've got digital ads and blogs. Those all need designed. Presentation design, experience design. When we do have live events, we have a whole team of experienced designers that are just thinking about what is that experience at the event. And then production folks, so anything from editors to live event production managers, audio technicians. You know, there's a large amount of team members that go into creating the content. In our digital practice, you've got UX and UI, design and development. We have a whole team of interactive developers that develop websites, search, data, and analytics, as I mentioned before. That's getting more and more crucial to our clients, as they want to know the analytics on those websites and those clicks and how that needs to change their strategy. Social and media buying as well. And then internal comms, employer branding, change communication, culture, transformation, lots of strategy in that department as well. And you can see there is some crossover. Obviously, internal comms, there needs to be some content creation. So a lot of times our clients are engaging us in several of these areas. Here are just ways that they kind of break down from a career path standpoint. So we do have, administration, HR, finance, IT, all those support pieces that need to keep the business running. So it's a great way if you're in those fields, but you really like a creative and a collaborative environment. You get to do those fields, but in this kind of ad agency world. So that's a great opportunity. You can see brand and integrated. We have account strategists, we have UX strategists, we have account managers and coordinators. They're just the ones that are leading the client and managing budgets. Project managing is huge. SEO strategists. You can see a lot of strategists across the board. We're very rooted in strategy. Content created, I mentioned a bunch of those, but art directors, creative directors, director of photography, event producers, all of those, plus some more probably that I didn't put on this slide. And then you can see the list in digital as well of some of the roles that we have, including media strategists, analytics managers, technical project managers, people just trying to figure out how to get it done is really key. So what's it like to work at JPL is a question I get. A lot of people ask me, like, what's your favorite part about JPL? And I always say the people. It's a great place to work because of the people that work there. Everybody's super passionate. They love what they do. And when you work with people who love what they do, it just makes work kind of go away and you end up just playing for the most part. So we do have kind of an internal motto that we work hard and we play hard. But, we do have all of the fun, like normal stuff, like we have summer picnics and we have anniversary parties and Halloween events and all that, which is fun and we love. But what we really kind of hang our hat on from a culture perspective is the interactions that we have every day. So I mentioned that the people are my favorite part, and it's because of the way we interact with each other. It's not about those like huge milestone moments. We're not just getting together on the company anniversary or at the holiday party. It's every day, it's every interaction that we have with each other that really makes a difference, and it really makes you wanting to come back to work every day. And we actually break that down into what we call the JPL experience. So these are 7 promises that all JPLers kind of live and breathe by. So it kind of gives you a quick insight into our culture. But we promise these 7 things to ourselves, to our clients, and to each other. So yes, we want to make sure our clients are happy, but we want to give that same kind of level of experience to the people we're working with on our team as well. And that's really important when you're trying to figure out where you want to work and what kind of environment you want to work in. So you can see some of the things that we look for in JPL team members. Communication's key. You have to be a stellar communicator. You can't just be a so-so. It doesn't say a so-so communicator. It's a stellar communicator. We're a communications company, and communications is key in our everyday. So that's super important. Collaboration is another big piece of the puzzle. if you don't like working with people or talking to people or giving feedback and getting feedback, we're not the place for you. Every day we're collaborating. Nothing's done in a silo. Nothing's done by one person. You're working together as a team to solve a problem. And to me, that's one of the most exciting pieces about the role. We want inspiring and positive people. And that's just part of our culture. We want people who want to be there, that want to come to work, that love what they do, because that definitely translates right over into the work that we do, and our clients want to work with people who want to be there. So being inspiring and positive, trying to stay uplifting, and we get into some pretty stressful times. It's a very stressful industry. You're under a lot of time deadlines and crunches. So staying positive and inspiring during those can sometimes be a challenge, but we're always looking for that. We look for people who can be prepared. Once again, we're working for our clients. There's deadlines, there's timelines, there's budgets. You need to be prepared and able to meet those. And you need to demonstrate ownership and commitment. Be welcoming, respectful, and trustworthy to all is really important to us. And then also engaging diverse voices and perspectives is something that we're really passionate about. And this comes in all different varieties, not just from having a diverse team member, but also just asking for other people's opinions. What are we looking at when we're brainstorming? How, are we bringing the same group of people together to solve this problem? Or did we think about inviting someone else to the party? So these kind of are the 7 core promises that we hold each other accountable to every day. And it kind of gives you a nice little insight and what we would be looking for when we're looking at interns or full-time positions. We're looking at people who also demonstrate these specific things, and we want to hear examples of how you've done that. I mentioned diversity a little bit already, but diversity inclusion at JPL, it's not just, an HR checklist. It's part of our business strategy. We're a creative company. If you think you can get creative ideas and creative solutions having the same group of people that have the same background and look the same, and it's not going to happen. We have to have diversity to be creative, and that's our business. So it's something we take very seriously. We have a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee that I lead, and we meet twice a month, every other week. We have very specific goals and metrics that we put into place and make sure that we're constantly trying to educate our team members, learn, evolve, and make sure we are being respectful and welcoming to everyone. But it's also really important when you're in an advertising and marketing industry, because we're putting work out there that's representing cultures and diversity to the public. So there's a responsibility that we have as well to make sure that our work is reflecting the audiences that it's going to. So we have a huge initiative around that that has just been growing and growing over the last couple of years. And it's something that our clients are demanding. Clients want to work with companies that have diversity now. They don't want to work with companies that are, have the same ideas with the same people. So it's part of our business. It's not just something that we check the box off, into HR, which to me is really important. Other pieces of our culture, like what the everyday looks like at JPL, we have a great transparency. Our leadership is very transparent when it comes to, communicating goals, finances. We have a monthly staff meeting where we see the finances from each month, and we know exactly where we're at, and if we're making money or losing money. And we actually all get a profit share. So JPL has a profit share system where every team member at the end of the year gets a equal share of the profit that we made. So it really puts you have accountability and ownership when you see those numbers. You can be like, oh, okay, I need to work a little bit harder. Maybe I need to do something different, or maybe I should find a way to do this a little bit quicker. It definitely drives our culture, and it's something that is really passionate. We're really passionate about, and it's really important because it kind of brings everybody together. We're all working together for the collective group. We love to recognize team members. That's part of our culture. You can see here 2 of our award nominees, actually winners, I believe. Yeah, we have a whole impact award program, and every year, we actually just finished it, but every year in January we do a huge award ceremony, and we award a couple awards to team members that have been nominated by their peers and then selected by our core leadership team. So recognizing team members is huge. And, we also like to have fun. You can see in the bottom there, Play-Doh, markers, brainstorming, workshops, things like that. We're a creative company. And whether you're in a creative role or not, everybody we consider is creative and can, bring something to the table. So you often get pulled into brainstorm meetings to think up crazy ideas and, doodle with some Play-Doh and figure out something that ultimately might become a reality for a client. And that's really fun. Community involvement is also another key aspect to JPL, something that is near and dear to our hearts. So we do participate a lot in different community involvement. You can see some of the pictures of Big Brothers Big Sisters bowl-a-thons, working at the food bank, some races, things like that. What is neat about JPL is that everybody has a voice in this. So if you have an idea or a passion for something that you want to get JPL involved in, all you have to do is bring it up. And I'll give you a real quick example. My husband's a veteran from the Army. And so supporting veterans is really near and dear to my heart. I came across this Operation Gratitude at Halloween time last year. Was it last year? Yeah. No, 2 years ago. I don't know. This whole COVID year has just really kind of thrown me off. But anyways, at Halloween time, I found this organization that you could actually take leftover Halloween candy, donate it to them. Then they box it up and send it to military folks that are servicemen and women that are overseas, and as kind of like a care package. And I thought that was such a cool idea. I brought it up to JPL. They said, yes, let's do it. So we held a candy donation. Everybody brought their candy in. We boxed it all up. We shipped it and donated it, and then even donated some additional money as well from JPL. So it's really nice that every single person has a voice in that. It's not just whatever the company president wants to sponsor or whatever is kind of the hot ticket item. So it really puts a lot of importance to it and the connection to the team members as well. Career development and the path at JPL is really interesting. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples of some team members and kind of like how they got started and where they ended up. So we love using Matt Daley as an example because he actually started as an intern. And it was back in, I don't even know the year, but I know that he was doing like CD-ROMs. So it was that long ago. He came in as an intern, and now he's our VP of Client Solutions. And he just continued to be a great JPLer, finding opportunities, being innovative, and worked his way into all different areas and finding client solutions. And so now he's a VP. Another person that I love to reference is Jill Saylor. She actually drove here from South Dakota. She was in radio and got into media production, was doing media production for a while, was a video producer, became a manager of video producers, then kind of jumped over into being an account manager with the clients. And now she's one of our lead account managers, kind of, figuring out the solutions and finding innovative products, bringing team members together for our clients. So she's had quite the, going from radio to account management. She's had a really quite interesting path as well. And that's what we like to kind of, put when we talk about talent development at JPL. We do really want to keep people and retain people, but we know that, you might not want to be in one role for the rest of your life. So there's always opportunities. And sometimes those opportunities aren't present or clear right away. A lot of times you're creating a position that wasn't even there a year ago or 2 years ago because of the demands of the marketplace or the demands of what the clients need. So if you're someone that can see that opportunity and bring it up and say, hey, I really think we need this role and I want to do it, that opportunity is there in JPL. If you don't want to be a manager and just kind of go up the normal ladder, there's definitely ways to grow and stretch. And that's kind of really fun as well. One of the things that a lot of people ask me is like, okay, well, Tracy, A, what's a talent experience manager? Good question. And B, how did you get there? So I wanted to tell you my journey because it might spur some questions that you guys have. I actually started out working at Walt Disney World. This is my graduation picture from their college program. So if anybody's interested in doing it, I highly recommend it. I don't think it's happening right now due to COVID, but I had a mass comm degree out of Lindenwood University with I had a minor in video production and dance. And I loved Walt Disney World, and I got the opportunity to go down on their kind of internship program, and I worked at Space Mountain. But I probably learned some of the most important and valuable lessons in my career from those first couple months at Space Mountain. When you have to tell someone that their kid can't go on the ride because they're not tall enough, like, you learn a lot of people's skills really quickly. But I loved working down at Walt Disney World, and I decided to stay down there and make a career out of it. So after my college program was over, I went and got into their media and events team and was helping produce media and events in the park. So anytime a camera crew or needed to come in or a still photo shoot, I was there to help and facilitate, make sure they had everything they needed. And that included one of my favorite events that I got to do every year was the filming of the Christmas parade. With, celebrities and floats and musical acts and crazy stuff. I had a blast doing it, and eventually I decided, though, that I didn't want to live in Florida anymore, and I was from central Pennsylvania, so I came back up and was lucky to find JPL, and I started at JPL as an event producer. So my event experience at Disney kind of helped get my job here, and there actually wasn't an event producer position available when I applied at JPL. I found JPL and I was like, this looks like a cool company, and looks like where I want to work. I applied for a position that I probably wasn't quite right for, but it got me in the door. They brought me in a few times, and then they ended up creating a position for me. So you're like, Tracy, what kind of events? It looks like you're out on a farm. It goes back to that. You never know what's going to happen at JPL. So one of our clients is New Holland Tractors. They wanted to do an event. I was assigned to it, and they wanted to do an event out in Bakersfield, California, in the middle of a farm to show off their tractors, and we figured it out and made it happen. So there I am in front of a T7, I think. I learned a lot about tractors on those events. And then eventually I did the event producer role for a couple years. I decided I wanted to get into management and became a manager of the producer team. And then I got married and started to have some kids. And that's when I said to JPL, hey, there's a lot of travel going on with the event producer role. And with the family, I wanted to kind of change it up. I was really passionate about the people at JPL. I was really passionate about like internal communications and the experience that everybody has at JPL and how I could help the culture. So the talent experience manager position was created based off of that need and the desire that I had. So I've been with the company now for 10 years. This was the 10-year social post. So I'm a mascot, a party planner, a cruise director, and a game show host. I got suckered into hosting all of our virtual staff meetings for the last year. But it's really been a game changer for me because JPL listened to what was going on and listened to what I wanted and the desires that I had and saw where my skill set could be useful in another area and, helped me create this position, which has been huge. And it's been a great new challenge in my career as well. So now I am responsible for the experience that you have from, recruiting, from posting that job to the experience in the interview to onboarding and all the way through. And I get to work with a lot of different team members and really help the people at JPL be the best they can be for our clients. So it's been a great job and I'm really enjoying it. You'll notice there on my social post, bring your baby to work trailblazer. I just wanted to bring out another little key part of JPL is that we do have a bring your baby to work program. And this is all driven out of our culture to the fact that we know when parents have children that it's tough and those first couple months are crucial. So we actually allow our parents to bring their babies to work for this first 6 months or until they start crawling. And I was lucky enough to bring both of my children with me. So I worked with them and just kind of took them around to all the meetings, and they really became just part of the family, and everybody knows my kids now at JPL. Because they kind of grew up there a little bit. You can see some other ones. We had a recent baby boom. This was before COVID, obviously. So it just goes to the culture and what we see as important for our team members as well, knowing that there is like work-life integration and work-life balance is so huge. And we want to retain talent. We don't want people to leave because of that. So we do everything we can to do that. So hopefully you've listened to this 30 minutes and you're like, whoa, Tracy, this sounds like the coolest place ever. I totally want in. What do I need to do to get to JPL? And here it is. So we do have full-time positions. We do have a great internship program that we offer. If you are looking for an internship, the thing at JPL is that we say our interns don't just get us coffee. The internship program is pretty intensive. You do get to work directly on client work, but then we also have an internship project. So you get to have your own client. You work with the team of other interns to put together whatever that solution is for that client. And then you have something coming out of the internship that you can put in your portfolio and an experience that you can use moving forward in your career. So great internship program. We are doing them virtually now, and hopefully we'll be having folks in the office later this summer. If you're still not sure, or you're just kind of, getting your feet wet, or just kind of want to learn a little bit more, we also are open to doing job shadows and meet and greets. Once again, right now we're still virtual since most of our team members are working from home. But if you're interested in an area and you want to kind of come and spend the day shadowing a video producer on a video shoot, or you want to just talk to a couple people and learn a little bit more about what the day in the life of a UX strategist looks like, we are also happy to set those up and work through those. So lots of different opportunities, and my advice is always just, ask the questions and get your, start networking and learning. If you're interested, I do have the jplcreative.com is our website. If you do the /careers, it'll take you to the website with both our full-time positions. And if you scroll down, there's links for internships and links for freelance, because we work a lot with freelancers as well. So that's another career path if you're interested. So I think that's everything that I had to talk to you. And let's look at, we're about 4:30-ish. So I'm going to turn it, I think, Rebecca, you're going to join me here. Here we go. And hopefully there's some questions that I can answer from everybody.
Yeah, we have gotten a lot of questions that come through, Tracy, while you were sharing such great insight into JPL. It's amazing. I didn't realize all the great things that you all have going on there. So I'm glad I got to learn a little bit more too. One of the first questions that came in is there any environmental community work that JPL does?
Yes, so that is one of actually an area that we're trying to get better at from an environmental standpoint. We did a recent audit of our office pre-COVID around how we can be doing better for the environment. So we do have a small task force that kind of works towards that. I don't think we currently we're not working with any outside or supporting any outside environmental charities of that nature, but it's something that internally we've been working towards, and we have a couple team members who are super passionate about it, and down to should we even have straws? We try to source some of like our snack bar things from local orchards and be really conscious about that as well. So it's definitely something that is top of mind for us.
See, that's great to hear, all of that you do related to environmental work. So our next question is, you mentioned a little bit about like you're doing remote work right now, working virtually. How has JPL transitioned during the pandemic?
Yeah, good question. It's funny, I'm getting ready to host our staff meeting tomorrow virtually, and I realize that it's going to be a year since we have been doing the virtual staff meetings, because we actually tested out virtual staff meetings last February. So before we even knew about the pandemic, it was just, we said, hey, I wonder if this would work. We should try it out. And we hosted our first virtual staff meeting in February. Little did we know that the rest of the year we were going to be doing virtual staff meetings. So it's definitely been a challenge. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's tough. I think we were lucky in the fact that we already had a lot of infrastructure put in place. We have pretty flexible schedules. So even pre-COVID, you were welcome to work from home if you needed to, if you had the cable guy coming. So we kind of already had all of the infrastructure. We could, remote, everybody had laptops. We had a VPN system. So there was a lot that made it pretty easy from that side. I think the biggest challenge we had was just we are such a collaborative group and we thrive off of that collaboration. And you forget, well, you don't even realize how much those hallway conversations, just passing someone in the hallway and saying, hey, and then, oh yeah, hey, and oh my gosh, hey, yeah, and let's do that. That you don't get when you're sitting at home in front of a Zoom meeting. So it's definitely been challenging. We've done a lot to try to connect team members as best we can. We created some things like speed meet and greets where we just get a couple people together randomly and they have 15 minutes just to chit chat, just to kind of like connect. We did a lot more communication. We were having, where we were doing like monthly staff meetings, we started doing like bi-weekly just to check in so people knew what was going on, because you didn't really know about that. We figured out ways to recognize each other virtually so we could keep the recognition program going. And even, our kickoff meeting, which normally is like a half-day event where we bring lunch in and we have everybody in the room together, and it's just like great momentum. Like we had to do that virtually. So it's been challenging, but out of the challenge has come a lot of great innovation. So we have events teams and we have video production teams, and they've pretty much been working through everything. We did have a couple weeks where it was down, but our events team, which usually is doing like huge live events, all over the country in big ballrooms for huge corporations with thousands of people there, pretty much instantly had to switch gears and figure out virtual events. Now, we already kind of had dabbled in the webcasting and we kind of knew a little bit, but we had to become really quick and really good at virtual events. And the team did it. And now we have a whole new offering that we're, promoting. So, out of, making lemons out of lemonade type deal. So there's been some really great innovations, and we're now looking at like, how do we work in the future? I don't think we'd ever go fully remote because that in-person collaboration is so key, but there's definitely some key learnings about, well, we can do it now. We've proven that. So I do miss being in the office. I'm a people person, so I can't wait till we get back in.
Well, thank you for, sharing some insight on that. I think it's pretty neat that you mentioned about innovation, and you have that mindset. I know, at HU, we instill that in our students, and, we've seen that with a lot of things, and seeing how you've been innovative at JPL to still connect with your customers and like doing events still across the country virtually, I think is an amazing testament to what JPL, has to offer for their clients. So the next question that came through, you mentioned about your internship program, that you've really structured it. So can you just elaborate a little bit more on that internship program and how you incorporate interns into contributing ideas with the creative brainstorming with your clients?
Yeah, no, great question. So I mentioned the internship program. I mentioned that there's kind of like an intern project that you work on with that core team. And that's something that's great that you can have in your portfolio. But outside, when you're not working on that project, pretty much you're always assigned a mentor. So someone who's there to help kind of guide you and figure out what you're interested in. And you get involved in all of the normal client activity or work that would be going on. So you may be invited to a brainstorming meeting about a new Hershey initiative. Because once again, going back to the whole diversity piece of it, like we need that voice. And sometimes when we're doing it, if our audience is younger, we can't have a bunch of, the old people in the room. So the interns are great to bring in diversity and different thought and different thinking. So you get pulled into brainstorms. You might even get to work on some client work or support the team on client work. You can be sitting in on client meetings. We always tell our interns it's really about what you make of the internship. The more you can ask questions, the more you can say, hey, I saw that there's someone called a UX strategist. Like, what's that about? Can I meet with them? The more you can do and ask in those internships, the more you get out of it. And that's really where we've seen success. For example, we currently have a interactive intern. She's been with us since the fall, and she's been pretty much completely virtual, which is, definitely a challenge in an internship. But I was meeting with her, and she just instantly said, I didn't even know you guys did video production. I'm a developer, like I code all day. Like, I just am really interested. Could I come and check that out? So we set up some time for her to come and shadow the team during one of our weekly productions, that she got to see what is like. And one of the things that's good is about internships is it's good to see what you like, but it's also good to see what you don't like. And like, hey, I definitely don't want to go into media production. That's too crazy. I like sitting at a computer and doing code. But it was good for her to have that understanding and see that connection. So she has that open mind. But that just came because she was curious and she asked the question. It's not like we formally set that up for all of our interns. So it's really what you make of it. But we try to get our interns as engaged and in the work as possible, so they get as much of a real life experience as we can.
That's really great, that they're able to work on a project and get to, collaborate on that. I think it's important, some of the things you mentioned of, speaking up and communicating, and, if you're curious about the different projects, connect, with the other folks you're working with at JPL so you can learn more about it. And, internships you mentioned, it's a way for you to explore, what you like, what you don't like, and understanding like what career path you want to get into. So that's really great, advice. And I'm glad that your current intern is able to explore those different opportunities related to video production with her interests. So that's pretty cool that you are doing that with students. Next question. So we have, a lot of our students, and especially in our interactive media program, I know they are focused on their portfolios and building up their portfolios. So they were wondering, do you recommend students have a portfolio when they apply to JPL? And if so, what would you recommend to include in their portfolio?
So the answer is yes. I will say we often, especially when we're looking at full-time positions, we'll even say in our posts, like, a portfolio is required, and if there isn't one submitted, you probably don't even make the first pass, because seeing the work is so important, and seeing what you can do is so important. I will say it is kind of role specific. So it depends on the role as far as what you need to put in your portfolio, but do your research, look at the company you're applying for in advance, see what they do, look at their work, and then try to tailor your portfolio to that. If you're, and for what the job position is, look at that job position description. And just do your homework about that. So don't, you have to kind of evolve your portfolio all the time. You might need to update it and change it every time you post for a job. But those portfolios are really key to getting through, especially when you're talking about, design, copywriting, interactive UX. I mean, our hiring managers, the first thing they want to see is that portfolio. They want to look at the work. So definitely put the time and energy into it. But yeah, do your research. If you're going out for, a presentation design and you just have a bunch of logos in your portfolio, like, well, where's the presentation design? It's super confusing on the hiring side. So just do your homework, look at the position you're applying for, check your portfolio out, make sure it ties into it and you've got those work examples. And then show diversity in your work. The more that you can show how flexible you are and how many, hats you can wear, it just makes you more valuable to any company.
Thanks, Tracy. That's definitely, really good advice and insight, for students with your portfolio. So I know, a couple of students here in this session, they're working on their portfolios to get them ready. So definitely take that advice that Tracy shared with you. So moving into our next question is, does JPL sponsor or accept H-1B?
Yeah, so they warned me this question was going to come, so I'll be transparent. I don't know a ton about H-1B. However, we do offer positions for folks with visas. We recently had, I want to say it was about 2 years back, we had an internship and then actually a full-time hire that was working on a visa. So we definitely are open to that. If you have additional questions or need a little bit more details, you can reach out to me or on our website. We have contact information and I can definitely get you more information on that. I'm just not super knowledgeable about it, so I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction.
Thanks, Tracy. The next couple questions are like focused on different types of roles. So the first two roles that the students were wondering is, do you have any data analyst or marketing analyst positions at JPL?
Yeah, we actually have a marketing analyst position open currently. So that is available on our website if you go check that out. And those are tough positions to find. So if, it's a great area to get into. I wouldn't be a good analytic person, but yeah, it's definitely trending that way, and there's going to be a lot more opportunities for those fields. But we currently do have a marketing analyst position, and we actually just hired a senior analytics manager just last week, actually. So
Full question then about those specific roles. So that's awesome to hear. So
yeah, I know.
these next
Great.
couple roles that were asked, they're related to internship opportunities. So they were wondering, if a student is in computer science or in our business major, management and e-business, do you offer opportunities related to those? And are the internships
Mhm.
paid in your internship program?
Yes, internships are paid. We find that important to do. So that's the answer to that question. Computer science and business. So that could go a lot of different places at JPL. We do have an IT department. We've got people that just need to keep our infrastructure moving and support our team members. And they actually they do work a lot on the client facing side, since we're dealing sometimes with if Giant's got an issue with this new website and it's on their side, our IT guys will help their IT guys out. Um, so there's that kind of piece of it. If you're really more into math and you get into the mathematical side, then the analytics piece is also key. Business, so I mean that can go anywhere. So strategist positions, account managers and account coordinators, a lot of them have business degrees. So it's very broad, and several of our positions across the board kind of use that. So I would just recommend, doing a little bit more research on the different types of positions, and even asking some questions and trying to narrow yourself down into what you're looking for, because that will be important when you're applying for internships.
Well, thanks for, talking about those roles a little bit more. So transitioning now, so our next question, what
Mhm.
are some of the benefits offered for full-time positions?
I love this question. I'm in the HR department now. So we have like the traditional benefits as far as like health, and we have really great packages. They're platinum plans. You can't get much better than that. But we have other things that make it valuable. I mentioned the profit share, where you kind of get that bonus at the end of the year, which is great. Um, we have some really cool perks. So for example, we have a gym ISP reimbursement plan. So if are going to the gym, or, you have a gym membership or a data plan on your phone, or home Wi-Fi, we'll actually give you a monthly stipend to help cover some of those costs, because we know they're important. Um, oh geez, what other things do we have? We have, I mentioned the Babies at Work program. I'm a big fan of that one. We do things like we have tickets to Senators baseball and Bears hockey that we raffle off. We get Round Top passes, so that you can, take your family to Round Top, and we kind of just share them across the company. So those are great as well. Oh geez, I'm just trying to think of all the different things we have. We have a tap room in the building. So every once in a while, like when we're celebrating something, whether it's a big client win or maybe a new hire or something exciting happens, this system of alarms goes off and everybody comes down and grabs a beer and we, chit chat and just network. We've been trying to do this like virtually with virtual happy hours. It's just not the same. We also have just a really cool creative space and environment. I think you saw in the video, like our developer team usually in the summers is out playing Foursquare. On the Foursquare court, we've got ping pong tables and arcade games and just ways to like kind of just take a break and be creative. So the space itself is a benefit in my book as well. The list goes on and on. Talent development. We really focus on, developing our talent. We have career discussions where you're just talking about your career and where you want to go and then setting goals to make sure you get there. We have mentoring programs to mentor with others, either inside or outside the company. And then we also have training budgets. So every employee has a training budget that they can use to further their education and get training, going to conferences or doing online training, whatever it is, as long as it ties into their role or their goals at JPL, like then we'll cover it for you. So many benefits. The list goes on and on. We can bring our dogs to work too. That's a big. The babies are. I started with babies because that was big, but I also would bring my dog to work when we were in the office.
You have a lot of different benefits, from, general HR benefits to even fun things. Yeah. And I think, many of our students are interested too in that, training and, getting developed, whenever they get onboarded and they begin their career. So that's great that you all have that focus. Mm-hmm. So moving into, we have some more questions that we're going to finish out here. So on your website where you list internships, there's one internship listed. Is there a way that students can get notified of when you list others on your website?
Yeah, we do post. We're pretty much just filled all of our summer internships, so we'll be looking to post probably for fall internships later on this year. I try to reach out to the HU team to let to kind of give a heads up so that you guys can post on your kind of internal comms as well. But I just, if you're interested, definitely just keep checking that website as often as possible. We also follow us on social media too. We also will post when we have new positions and things, mostly on LinkedIn. So definitely check us out there as well.
Thanks. That's great info. And students, you all know you have your LinkedIn, so be on there, check that out, follow them on LinkedIn and their social pages. So we know you all do that. So definitely be sure to do that. So moving on to our next question is, pointing back to like your data analytics and marketing analytics role, a student wanted to know, what does data and analytics at JPL entail? Do you work with Google Analytics, or what kind of data programs do you work with?
I'm going to answer this to the best of my knowledge, and then I can also refer you to get more. That would be like a great meet and greet opportunity. But no, the data and analytics team, they do work with Google Analytics. I know they also use a software called Tableau. But they are pulling the data they work with our digital media campaign strategists, and they are just pulling the data and the numbers from these huge digital campaigns that our clients do, and pulling them all together into some type of like a dashboard kind of snapshot of like, hey, here's how this is performing. Here's the metrics and the numbers, and they're putting it all together. They're also analyzing those numbers and saying, hey, if we would do X, Y, and Z, it would increase the number of clicks that we're getting. So it is a very, mathematic analytical position. You have to really love numbers and looking at them and being able to see insights and present different ideas to our clients. But you also have to be able to do it in a way that our clients who are not, they're not analytical. They don't know all the numbers. They don't know all the algorithms. You have to be able to communicate that to them in a way that they understand and in a way that they're going to see value in continuing to, buy into that service. So it is challenging. You have to have kind of both mindsets to be able to look at the numbers, but then communicate them. Very similar to like a technical role that we have. So as far as additional programs, and I know Tableau because we actually just did a project review on that for the entire company, which was really nice about that system and how nice it is. But I would definitely be happy to set them up with one of our analytics people for a meet and greet, and you could ask them a lot more specific
So
questions.
for that insight, and no, you may not know, all the details, but it's good to have a bit more of an
Yeah.
understanding. And I liked your point too, where you're talking about how they might communicate with a client and they have that technical knowledge that they know, but helping the client to understand that knowledge, I think, is crucial. So that's important for them to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, it goes back to those, you have to be able to be a stellar communicator. It's great if you're super smart and you can do all the numbers and all the things, but if you can't communicate that to someone else, um, you're going to struggle in this industry. So that's something that's really important. Even some of our, IT positions, going back to the computer science, folks, is you might be able to solve the IT challenge or whatever that might be, but if you can't do that and communicate it to the team and give them, you know, for lack of a better term, a great customer experience, we call it a JPL experience, but um, that's part of who we are. So that's something that's really important to us, that you have to be able to communicate, and that goes back to I say my customer experience knowledge from those first couple days working at Disney and understanding how to deal with some of those has given me so much. I use those skills like all the time, like just knowing how to tell a mom that her son can't ride Space Mountain. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
like
that is
it's
huge.
huge.
Our transferable skills, they definitely hit us in our different stages of life. So
Mhm.
it's definitely something to be mindful of. So moving into the next question, um, this student said they are interested in job shadowing in your job shadow program. Is there any opportunities to do that when we get back to a post, COVID normalcy?
Yes, we're hoping to. We've got a couple that I've been continuing to push back and push back and push back. We've tried to get them in, and then safety comes first. So yeah, we're hoping as we get into the summer and things start to improve and we get more team members back in the office, that we can open up our job shadow program. I would definitely encourage you to go to the website. There's contact information. You can email hr@jplcreative.com and just let us know your interest. Let's give me the information to help me make it as easy as possible. So time frames, what you're really specifically interested in, things like that um, are great. And then hopefully, as soon as we can safely have job shadows, we'll try
I
to get
think
as
that
many in
that's
as we
awesome that
can.
you have that program. It's a huge, huge opportunity for students to just get connected, and hopefully we'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to have them get connected and participate in that program. So last two questions here. Can seniors who are graduating in May or summer apply to open positions, interview, and potentially receive an offer now and then start later?
Yeah, that's it's definitely possible. A lot of time, depending on the graduating in May. So yeah, I mean we're pretty close. I would say, we are usually trying to fill positions pretty quickly because the work moves so quickly. So graduating in May right now might be a little tough. As we get closer to May, that might be a reality. We don't have any formal rules that say we can't do it. It would depend, but we do move pretty quickly just because that's the way the industry, we have to keep moving as well. So it's doable. I would say I can't say I've seen that happen recently, but it is, a possibility.
Definitely be mindful of that, students, if you're interested in opportunities and thinking about that. So definitely check that out. So our final question is there an email address or LinkedIn address where students can follow up with you regarding questions such as specifics on sponsorship, internships, information about like your Hagerstown office or your New York office?
Yeah, feel free to link. I'm on LinkedIn, find me, search me, Tracy Gallagher. So feel free to connect with me there, or just our email address, hr@jplcreative.com. You can email. That goes to both myself and our director, and we are looking at that daily. So either of those are great. And then for Da Vinci as well, we do, like, the HR department covers both companies, so we are responsible for hiring both JPL and Da Vinci. So if you're interested in Da Vinci as well, same email, you can reach out to us. They have a davinci.com website you can check out to learn a little bit more about their offerings as well. Did I catch information about, New York office? Yeah, so our New York office currently is closed. So all of our New York team members are working remotely. That's probably going to be the last office to open up. So right now we aren't doing any internships for the New York office specifically.
Awesome. Well, that's definitely good insight as well, especially we know during this time how New York has definitely been affected. So good insight for us to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Well, that was our final question, and we just want to thank you, Tracy, for coming to meet with us today and to share more about JPL. Students, if you are interested in getting connected with Tracy, be sure to connect with her on LinkedIn. Check out, jplcreative.com/careers to see the different opportunities for jobs, the internships, the job shadow program. But it was wonderful to have you here, Tracy, so we thank you. And thank you, students, for the great questions that you submitted. You all had some great questions to ask today. So we look forward to seeing you.
Yes, thank you. It's been a very boring last 30 minutes if you guys want to.
We'll look forward to seeing you all for the rest of this week at Career Week. And, thank you so much for attending.
Yeah, thank you guys.